One of the reasons I was here today is to begin a process of consultation here in this parish regarding a recommendation that I've received from the leadership here. In 2013, our Holy Father, Pope Francis, issued an amazing document called The Joy of the Gospel. He has some powerful things to say concerning parishes. He says parishes need to have a missionary dimension. This is his words. He says, I hope that all communities will devote the necessary effort to advancing along the path of a pastoral and missionary conversion which cannot leave things as they presently are. Mere administration can no longer be enough. Throughout the world, let us be permanently in a state of mission. He goes on to say, I dream of a missionary option. That is, a missionary impulse capable of transforming everything so that the Church's customs, ways of doing things, times and schedules, language and structures can be suitably challenged for the evangelization of today's world rather than for her self-preservation. He goes on to say, and he urges the parishes to engage in a process of examination. He says the Church can also come to see that certain customs, not directly connected to the heart of the gospel, even some which are deeply historical roots, are no longer properly understood and appreciated. Some of these customs may be beautiful, he says, but they no longer serve as a means for communicating the gospel. We should not be afraid to re-examine them. At the same time, he says, the Church has rules or precepts which may have been quite effective in their time, but no longer have the same usefulness for directing and shaping people's lives. In response to this address, this invitation by our Holy Father, Archbishop Mancini released a pastoral letter in 2014 that called upon all in the Archdiocese to renew and strengthen our communities by focusing in particular on our efforts toward mission, community, and transformation. He also called for a process of readjustment. This is the words that he said, an alternative community of Christian faith calls us for some actions, for some serious adjustments in our manner of being church. It will require all of us to rethink our expectations and demands. This will necessarily lead us to changes in our pastors, in how our pastors exercise their pastoral ministry. Laity and parishes cannot continue to define themselves as they did historically. Parishioners must go beyond their past cultural expectations or risk being overly preoccupied with the preservation of past glories or buildings, important as these symbols may be. As a result, a diocesan pastoral plan, Equip the Saints, was released in 2017 after extensive clergy and lay consultation. Equip the Saints gave specific diocesan goals and actions to help us achieve the vision laid out in the 2014 letter. It emphasized the need for focus on mission, community, and formation by giving 4 specific objectives. And these are the 4 objectives. First of all, foster communities that form missionary disciples. Secondly, provide resources to carry out the mission in the world. Thirdly, equip people for our mission by providing diocesan leadership formation opportunities. And fourth, increase our mission capacity and efficiency by restructuring our parishes and our diocesan human and financial resources. So restructuring of parishes was part of one objective, intended to facilitate the other 3. The goals of greater financial stability and more streamlined parish organization were intended to allow for greater missionary flexibility. All parishes have been asked to align the resources for mission. And so across the Archdiocese, our new parishes have been responding to this call in different ways. In response to this call, Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish the leadership over the past year began a process of evaluation of the entire parish. They discovered that Mass attendance between 2001 and 2019 has reduced on average by 70% for Immaculate Conception and St. Paul's. The celebration of the various sacraments has declined over this period, and the 14 buildings of the parish need many repairs and capital projects. Much of this information was presented to the whole parish community in a 7-week process called the New Foundations during the fall of last year, from September to November. Parish leadership and parishioners continued to reflect on this information and considered various options for the parish. The consensus was to repair and build at St. Peter's site. This option, if followed, would involve the closure of Immaculate Conception Church and St. Paul Church. I reviewed this recommendation, and seeing that it demonstrated great care for the community and attention to their needs, agreed to launch a second phase of the process of discernment, a period of consultation and community input, and that's what I announce here today. This process of consultation will give the whole parish the opportunity to be consulted so that we can seek out the necessary information regarding this recommendation. This consultation shall take place over the next few months and will involve small group dialogue sessions. It's important to emphasize that this is a consultation process. The results of the consultation will be tabulated, and a final decision will be made by me as I receive the advice of various diocesan groups, including the Council of Priests. I'm very aware that the idea of a church closure affects the hearts of all parishioners and will inevitably elicit strong sentiments. Thus, in order to assist parishioners with dealing with these responses or grief, we have designated some clergy from outside the parish to be available for any parishioner who desires this service. Over the next few months, the parish shall continue with further research, will care for all parishioners, especially those who feel the pain of the loss of their buildings. I invite all parishioners to be involved in this formal process of consultation and discernment to consider the closure of the Church of the Immaculate Conception and St. Paul's Church. Please know that my prayers will be with you during this consultation process.